What's going on, baseball fans? How you doing tonight? We're talking the AL West for the 2021 season. We're talking Astros, Athletics, Mariners, Angels, Rangers. Let's get to it. And what's going on, baseball fans? How you doing tonight? Hello. What is going on? How are we doing? Seeing a lot of familiar faces in the chat yet again. I'm seeing Jared Grant. He is ready to talk some Angels tonight. Mets Nation is here. Mets Nation, be here on Monday. We're talking the NL East. We're going to be with Jolly Olive on Monday night. Just saying. HMA, what's going on? CFMC, hello. Ace, Nicholas, Alec, EJ, what is going on? Yogi Dude, hello. Ace, hello. Dylan Crouch, what's going on? Cool Cat, Matthew I can't say that. Takagi, is that how you say it? Wow, I really stumbled on that one. Who else we got? Brandon Lazardi, what's going on? KF, hello, how you doing? Gavin Macias, what's going on? Alrighty, hello everyone. If I missed you, I'm sorry, but hello. We're talking some AL West tonight. We have done a couple of previews already. This is our last division in the American League. We started off with the American League East earlier this week, and then we talked about the Central the other night, and now I'm here, and we're going to talk about the American League West, which in my opinion is... It's a pretty tough division here. There's a lot. I'll be honest with you. I think you can make an argument for at least 4 out of these 5 teams to maybe even win the division. This is a wide open division, in my personal opinion. There's a lot of talent in this division, and this is going to be a little hard to predict for me. And just to give you guys a heads up, like I have the first couple of division preview streams I've done. These are not my predictions by any means. These are just previews. Maybe you'll see which way I'm leaning in some ways, but these are by no means my predictions as of right now. So these are just previews as of right now. So before I get to it, if you are new right now, think about hitting that subscribe button. Everyone, we are within 20 subscribers of 6K. We have finally started to push towards 6K a little bit. We kind of got stuck at around like 5.92, 5.93, but we've been kind of picking up some steam in the last few days. So we are within 20 people of 6K. So definitely think about hitting that subscribe button if you are looking for more baseball news and content. Hit that like button for me. That's going to help this stream get out to more baseball fans, especially fans of the teams out west. And go follow me on Twitter as well if you would like to talk some more baseball throughout the day. Also, everyone, today I actually posted a video. Let me share the screen real quick so I can show you here. But earlier today I did post this. If you have yet to see it, hey, go take a look at it if you get bored. So I talked about the article that Jim Bowden on The Athletic came out with, where he proposed 5 ideas for trades before the season starts. Bit of a spoiler alert, I am not a big fan of the trades that he suggested. So there is one that I thought was okay, but if you haven't seen that yet, go check it out. I mean, it's... The trades themselves, they're not great, so that's just pure entertainment in itself. Jim Bowden, I will just say, not to try and be mean, but there is a reason why this man is no longer a general manager. I will just say that. But here we go, coming back to you guys. So let's get to the American League West. So I'm going to start off pretty hot here. There's no really any order to this. I'm kind of just going by kind of how I'm feeling with what order I want to go in. But I'm going to start off hot, and I'm going to start off with the Houston Astros. As a lot of you like to say, the Houston Trash Tros, from what I've seen in my chat before. I'm pretty sure the trash can emojis are going to start flooding in here any second. And here comes one. Maybe I'm not seeing it just yet, but I know they're going to be coming. But Houston Astros, say what you would like about the Houston Astros. But the Houston Astros this past season, one win away from getting back to the World Series, and that was without any sort of cheating whatsoever at all. So, to me, I have moved on from the whole cheating scandal. I have moved on from it. If anyone else still has any ill will towards it, I mean, I don't know what to tell you. But they got one win from a World Series this past year, and they went up against a pretty good Rays team in the playoffs. And this Houston Astros team, goodness, I cooked a little earlier, and it's still a little smoky in my apartment a little bit. And oh my God, it's like just hitting my face. But here we go. Houston Astros, let's get right to it. So let's go take a look at the PECOTA standings first, and we'll take a look at the Fangraph standings as well. So here we go. Sharing the screen here. Alrighty, so taking a look at PECOTA. So this is where they're projecting the West this year. So as of right now, they have the Astros winning this division at 93-69. I mean, they're not losing any love for the Houston Astros. And that's even with losing George Springer this past offseason. They have the Angels coming in at second at 87-75. They have the A's finishing below 500 this year at 80-82. The Mariners 70-92, and the Rangers in last place. And as for Fangraphs here, we take a look here. Hold on one second. There we go. So if we take a look here, as of right now, Fangraphs has the Astros still doing very well this year. They have the Astros winning the West, finishing with a record of 88-74. For the Angels, they have them coming in at 84-78. For the Athletics, they have them coming in at 83-79. What is going on with my iPad here? Oh, I see what's going on here. There we go. That's better. And then the Mariners, they have them coming in at 74-88, and the Rangers coming in at 72-90. So, for the Astros, to me, I still think this is a very talented team. There's a lot to like about the Houston Astros. So, they did have one big loss this past offseason. Framber Valdez getting a fractured finger, and those fingers, man, if you break your finger, they take a long time to come back from, man. He had a fracture. It was that bad to the point where he's gonna be missing out on the whole season. And he had himself a really good season this past year. And with him now on the shelf, they had a big gaping hole in that starting rotation, and they brought in a Jake Odorizzi for that starting rotation to go behind a Zach Greinke and a Lance McCullers Jr. Not sure why they don't have him in here, but whatever. Did something happen with Jake Odorizzi? Why is he not here? They didn't put him here for some reason. But as for right now, the starting pitching was actually very strong for the Astros last year. That was actually something that definitely carried them to the playoffs last year. Starting off with Zach Greinke. He had himself a really good year last year. If we take a look at Zach Greinke, a lot to like. As of right now, it was pretty obvious, but Zach Greinke will be the opening day starter. That was announced just a few days ago, but that was pretty obvious. But Zach Greinke last year, 12 starts, had the 4.03 ERA. However, the FIP was a lot better at 2.80. XFIP was 3.51. Still a good amount of strikeouts, 9 strikeouts per 9. Kept the walks down, kept the home runs down. I still think Zach Greinke is one of the best pitchers in the game, even though he's creeping up in age. This is a guy, he's not really going to get affected by age, because this is a guy that doesn't really rely on velocity very much. He relies more on location, on the movement of his pitches, mixing speeds, changing eye levels in the zone. So Zach Greinke, honestly, Zach Greinke, that's a guy you could probably see pitch until he's like in his mid-40s. I'm not even kidding. He doesn't need velocity. So, but if we take a look back at the rest of the rotation. So you're not going to have Justin Verlander this year. Again, Framber Valdez is out. You got Lance McCullers Jr. I still think he's pretty decent. He looked okay last year. If we take a look at him from last year, Lance McCullers Jr. He was coming back from Tommy John surgery, and this past year, he made all 11 starts, and then he had pretty good numbers, 3.93 ERA, the 3.70 FIP, good strikeouts per 9, walks were fine, kept the home runs down. I like Lance McCullers Jr. Again, I'm not really sure why they're not showing Jake Odorizzi right here, but he is here. They brought him in for that to fill in that hole in the rotation left by Valdez. Jake Odorizzi, he did not have himself a very good year at all last year. He was dealing, what did he do? I forgot what he did. What injury did he have? Did he like strain an oblique, or he got like did he get hit with a ball? Or I don't remember what happened with him, but he had an injury where he only got limited to 4 starts. But last year was pretty much a lost season for him. If you go, 2019 is kind of what we're looking at here with the Twins. Had a really good year that year. He was an all-star in 2019, had the 30 starts, the 15-7 record, 10 strikeouts per 9, kept the walks down, kept the home runs down, good FIP, good ERA. I mean, the xFIP was still actually a little high at 4.33, so that is something to keep an eye on with him. He gives up a lot of fly balls, but that's kind of his game. He's a bit more of a fly ball pitcher. So going to be interesting to see how that translates to Houston. I still think he's going to be fine. I think he's going to be fine in the middle of this rotation. I like this Astros starting pitching. I think the key here is just health. Christian Javier, he had himself a pretty decent rookie season last year. However, though, there were some good things about Christian Javier. However, the one thing that kind of stuck out to me with him was the FIP, was the xFIP. Those were both near the 5s. ERA was low, so he got helped out by the defense, but to keep his ERA down. So gonna have to pay attention to that. He did give up some home runs last year. He almost had about 2 home runs per 9. So if he can kind of work on that a little bit, I think he's gonna be in good shape. Overall, though, I like the Houston Astros starting pitching. But the biggest loss for the Astros, the one thing to pay attention to, is simply the fact they lost George Springer, and that is a guy, he was the catalyst of their lineup. So you're really going to be relying, they did bring in Michael Brantley. At first glance, it looked like he was going to the Toronto Blue Jays, and then all of a sudden, he was back with the Houston Astros. So Brantley will be back in left field. Yordan Alvarez is going to be back too, so I don't think he even played last year. Did he even play 1 game last year? Oh, he did. He played 2 games last year. He was having some problems with his knee, I believe. So that's someone that's going to be a big boost to that lineup. Won the Rookie of the Year a couple of years ago. Jose Altuve, they're going to need a bit of a bounce back season from him. He started heating up in the playoffs, Jose Altuve. So if he can kind of carry that momentum into the season, that's going to be a big boost. Definitely, to me, he's the guy that kind of should be leading it off. I think this lineup is still really good. Carlos Correa, to me, I don't know. Carlos Correa, to me, I'm still kind of waiting for like that. He had that one or those 2 couple of good seasons there, like 2016. 2016 to me, that was like his best season overall. He had the 153 games, good amount of home runs, good amount of RBIs, had some stolen bases, played well in the field. To me, 2016 was like the Carlos Correa year. But since then, 2017 was good, but he was just getting hurt, and he just hasn't really been able to play the amount of games that he was able to play in 2016 since. Again, when he does play, he's good. However, this year, he kind of a down year, but again, a lot of guys had some not great years this past year, but his offense kind of took a dip a little bit. The home runs took a dip. The RBIs took a dip. So definitely looking to see what he can do. I still think there's a lot of talent in this Astros lineup. Like I said, you got Yordan Alvarez, good year in 2019. They got him the Rookie of the Year. Still got Yuli Gurriel there. He's projected for around 21 home runs. Kyle Tucker's an interesting one. This is a guy last year when I made my possible breakout players. I had Kyle Tucker near the top of that list, and he ended up having a pretty good year. The 268 average, the 9 homers, had the 325 on base, but he did really well. I thought he had a really good season for them. He really helped pick up the slack, especially with Jose Altuve having a down year. Alex Bregman, that's another one. We'll get to him right now. Bregman is a big key. I think if Bregman can get back to that level that he was on in 2019 and even in 2018, the guy had really good years those 2 years, and then kind of struggled this year. Him and Altuve struggled. So but that 2019 season, if he gets back to anywhere from the 30 to even 35 home run range, driving in runs in the middle of the order, look at the on base that he had in 2019, a 423 on base. That's nasty. So Alex Bregman, I mean, I think the Astros, they're really counting on some guys to have bounce back seasons. Altuve, Bregman, I mean, even Yordan Alvarez, but then also, guys like Brantley and Correa staying on the field. There's still a lot of talent, even with Springer no longer with the Astros, heading to Toronto. So still lots to like. And as for the bullpen is fine. It's not, I don't think it's the best bullpen out there, but I do like Ryan Presley. The guy's nasty. They brought in a Pedro Baez that they I'm experiencing some lag. Are we still here? All right, looks like we're still working. All righty, looks like we're good now. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. I might have to do something with Streamlabs because Streamlabs in the last couple of days, man, I don't know what it's been doing. It's been going through some lag. I'm not really sure what's been happening with Streamlabs, but apologies for that, everyone. But it looks like we're back on. It looks like we're good to go. Alex says, was there a super chat? Oh, Michael Yanch. Oh, Michael Yanch. I'll get to that super chat here in a second. I'll finish up with the Astros. But for the bullpen, there's some pieces to like in this bullpen. Brian Abreu, that's a young pitching prospect that they have. Look out for him. They got Ryan Stanek coming in. They have some guys that are projected to have some pretty good seasons. I think this bullpen is going to be okay. I think they could use maybe like one more guy. Like a Pedro Baez is pretty good. I thought maybe someone like a Josh Hader would have been really good for this bullpen. I thought that would have been a nice fit. So, but everyone, tell me where you think the Astros are going to, hold on. Let me pull up some top prospects. Any top prospects to keep an eye out for? I did just mention Brian Abreu. I believe he's in the top 5 of their prospects. So let's take a look here. Oh, one big one was Forrest Whitley. Forrest Whitley, he just underwent Tommy John surgery, or I don't know if he's had the surgery yet, but he elected for it. So he's going to be gone for a while. He was their top prospect. So you're not going to be seeing him. So unfortunately for him, that's a bummer. But they still got some other guys that can contribute. Look out for maybe someone like a Jeremy Pena. You got a Luis Garcia here. Like I said, Brian Abreu was here. Okay, he's at number 14 right now. But Brian Abreu looking like he could be seeing some action this year. So you do got some guys here in the minors that could get a taste this year. So keep an eye out for some of these guys. But tell me what you guys think in the chat. Where do you think the Astros are going to finish? Do you think they're going to finish first? Do you think they're going to finish second, third, fourth, fifth? Let me know. Where do you think? Alrighty, so let me get to that super chat while you guys are putting your own predictions here. Michael Yanch, to win the NL or NL West, you need pitching. I agree. I think some of these guys are really going to have to step up, especially like a team like the Angels. We've seen this Angels team, they have good lineups, and they've even had good pieces in the bullpen. But this Angels team, they really need starting pitching. So that's going to be a big key for them. So I'm seeing a bit of a mix here. I'm seeing some first place finishes. I'm seeing some thirds. I'm seeing some seconds. I'm seeing a fourth place in there. So it seems like we're all, a little divided on the Houston Astros right now. It's a tough team this is just overall just a tough division to kind of figure out. It's hard. This division, I think, can go multiple ways. So, but the Astros, love them or hate them, they still got a ton of talent on that team. So, moving on to our next team, we're going to kind of slow it down here a little bit. We're going to talk about a team that I think maybe could be a pesky team. But I don't think they're really going to do too much damage. And that's the Texas Rangers. There's a lot to like about this Texas Rangers team. They unloaded Lance Lynn this past offseason, brought in a young starting pitcher in Dane Dunning, which I actually like that trade for both sides. But for the Texas Rangers this year, it's going to be interesting to see kind of where they finish. So let me pull up some numbers here. Alrighty, looking at the Texas Rangers. Where are the Texas Rangers? Hold on one second, everyone. Here we go. All right, sharing the screen. Okay, so the Texas Rangers, let's take a look at Pacoda one more time. Again, they have them finishing at the bottom of the division, 67 and 95. For Fangraphs, they have them finishing at the bottom as well, with a record of, let's take a look. Oh, I didn't realize they had the divisions down here. Oh, okay, cool. They already had the divisions all broken down right here. So for the West, they have them finishing at 72 and 90 at the bottom of the division as well. So for the Rangers, I mean, again, there's not really a lot to, to kind of convince you that they're going to make any kind of a run. But this Rangers team, I still think there's a lot to like. You got some guys here. They brought in a guy like David Dahl. They brought in a guy like Nate Lowe. I like that move. They brought in a Chris Davis as well. I think that's pretty exciting, where he's got some power potential. There's power all over this lineup. Where starting with Joey Gallo, this is a guy where Joey Gallo, he's known for kind of, getting the strikeouts, but he can hit some absolute bombs. If you go back, he had two straight 40 home run seasons going from 2017 to 2018. And, looking at the average was really low those 2 years. But then in 2019, this guy was going off. He was hitting 253. Then he had a 389 on base. This guy was going off for some pretty decent numbers. He had 22 home runs in the 70 games. This guy was really on pace for a good year. And then he started going down with some injuries. So Joey Gallo, and then this past year, everything kind of just fell off with him. The batting average, the on base. He still had some power. He drove in some runs. But Joey Gallo, looking forward to see what he can do this year. Nate Lowe, I think, has all the potential to be a breakout player. I think he could be pretty good. Isaiah Keener Falefa, this is a guy he's taking over at short with going completely blank on the name right now. Elvis Andrus going to the Oakland A's. So this is a guy to keep an eye out for. Last year, he had a pretty good year. Hit 280 over the 58 games, had the 329 on base, had the few homers, had 10 RBIs. It's whatever, but he stole a few bases too. He's played pretty good defense, so I think he's going to be fine at shortstop. But really kind of where the Rangers are lacking, it's just the starting pitching. If you take a look here, I mean, there's not a lot to like about the starting pitching. I do like Kohei Arihara. I think that's an interesting one. I was really hoping the Red Sox are going to bring him in. Unfortunately, they couldn't get him. So they were one of the finalists. Unfortunately, couldn't land him. But Dane Dunning, that's going to be an interesting one. He did pretty well with the White Sox last year. So looking to see if he can continue that momentum going into his sophomore season. I mean, you got Kyle Gibson. You got guys like Jordan Lyles. I mean, they're okay. But there's just no starting pitching here. You got Mike Fultonevich. Can he have a bounce back year? He kind of stumbled in Atlanta. So, but not really too much in the bullpen. You got a Jose Leclerc. I mean, he's projected for a pretty good year, 3.82 ERA. He's only 27 years old. Could maybe you see him maybe possibly get traded at some point this year, maybe at the deadline, maybe a team looking for a bullpen arm. So if we take a look, I mean, he has a couple of options still for the minor leagues, but I mean, this past year, what happened with him this past year? Did he get hurt? I think he was hurt this past year, but I mean, back in 2018, he had the 1.56 ERA, had a good amount of strikeouts. He still has the strikeouts going, but I don't know. The FIP was better in 2019 compared to the ERA. So I don't know. Jose Leclerc, definitely going to keep an eye out for him. That's kind of like I think the main guy to keep an eye on in that bullpen. But I don't know. The Rangers, I'm just not really seeing too much of the Rangers right now. They do have the number 2 pick in the MLB draft that's going to be taking place this summer. So that's going to be something to keep an eye out for with the Texas Rangers. I mean, you do got guys like Sam Huff. Keep an eye out for Sam Huff. As of right now, they have Jose Trevino slotted in as the catcher. He had himself a pretty fine season last year, Jose Trevino. I mean, he did okay. Wasn't the best. It was 24 games. A couple of homers. He played some pretty good defense. I mean, nothing great. On base could be better. But that's a guy who right now is slotted in for that position. But could Sam Huff be the next guy to take over. He's the number 2 prospect right now. Guy's got a ton of power. Look out for Josh Jung. This could be a guy that could come up this year. Maybe a Leody Taveras could come up at some point this year. Look out for some of these guys. There are some guys to keep an eye out here for. But for the Rangers, I personally think we're going to be probably seeing a last place finish. Could they maybe go on some kind of a run? Could maybe that lineup really come together? Maybe some pitchers start to step up a little bit. We'll have to wait and see. I think maybe the highest that they could do is maybe 4th. But who knows? We've seen some more odd things happen in baseball. So tell me what you think is going to happen with the Texas Rangers this year. Do you think they're going to finish in last, 4th, 3rd? Be a crazy team this year, come in 1st or 2nd? Let me know what you think in the chat. Where do you see the Texas Rangers finishing this year? Alrighty. So I'm seeing Cool Cat, Alex S. both saying 5th place. Alex S., yes, a lot of pieces. Matthew with a 6th place finish. I like it. Zachary Goldstein last. I think most of us are going to say they're probably going to be probably last in this division. So let me ask you guys this question. Let me know what you think. Give me a number 1 if you think they are going to have the worst record in all of baseball, or give me a number 2 if you think they'll finish better than the worst team in baseball. Let me know what you guys think. Just in front of the Pirates. I have seen some people really kind of be a little low on the Rangers, so I don't think they're going to be the worst team in all of baseball, but I definitely think they're going to be kind of at the bottom of the barrel when it comes to at least the American League West. So here we go. Moving on. Now we're going to stick kind of probably more towards the bottom here. But this is a team. There's a lot of fun things to pay attention to with this team, the Seattle Mariners. There's a lot to like about the future of this team. Oh man, if we go take a look here. So the Seattle Mariners, I feel like we're going to end up looking more at the farm system with this team because the farm system is just so fun to look at. But let's take a look where Pacoda has them. As we looked earlier, we saw the Mariners. They were projecting the Mariners for a 70-92 finish. In the West on Fangraphs, they have them projected for a 74-88 record. So let's go take a look at the Seattle Mariners. So the Mariners, a lot to like with this team, at least the future. So if we take a look here, it's funny. My eyes just dart right towards the top prospects. You got Julio Rodriguez, Jared Kelenic, Logan Gilbert, Taylor Trammell, Emerson Hancock, George Kirby, Noelvi Marte, Cal Riley. Sam Delaplane. Goodness gracious. There's a lot to like with the future of this team. That is just nasty. So, but they already have a pretty decent team already. I'm not going to sit here and say it's a terrible team. There's some pieces to like. You got J.P. Crawford, pretty decent shortstop. He plays pretty good in the field too. Still got you got the rookie of the year in Kyle Lewis. Mitch Haniger, he's projected for 25 home runs. You still got Kyle Seager there. He's projected for 25 home runs. Ty France, I actually kind of like Ty France a little bit. He's projected for almost 20 home runs. You got Dylan Moore. I think Dylan Moore is a little underrated. Taylor Trammell. Fangraphs is projecting Taylor Trammell to win a starting job out of spring training. Evan White, I think he's one of the best defensive players in the game, and he's still, he's not even 25 years old. Tom Murphy, I think, is a really good catcher. But then you go to the rotation, full of left-handers. You got Marco Gonzalez, UC Kikuchi, James Paxton, Justice Sheffield. The Seattle Mariners last year actually finished in the top 10 in starting pitching. I don't think a lot of people know that. Marco Gonzalez, the owner of the Mariners, he basically he said Marco Gonzalez is boring. But Marco Gonzalez, to me, is very solid. I like Yusei Kikuchi. There were some advanced numbers that kind of helped him out, painted a better picture of him last year. They brought back James Paxton. I think it's going to be a good fit for both sides. Justice Sheffield, he just keeps getting better. Then you got a young starting pitcher in Chris Flexen. You got Justin Dunn, who's also very young. And then you got some decent arms in this bullpen. Look out for Rafael Montero. Kendall Graveman can show some flashes here and there. I don't mind this team. They also brought in Ken Giles. Look out for Ken Giles. He's going to come in next year, but that's something to pay attention to. But the fun thing with the Mariners right now, I mean, are the prospects. Jared Kelenic, he's probably going to come up at some point this year. I would imagine they're going to play around with his service time probably. So you're probably going to see him at some point late April, May. I'm not exactly sure what the date would be, but I would imagine it's going to be something around that time frame. Julio Rodriguez, we're probably not going to be seeing him this year. I don't know. Depends on how he does. If he's having a completely nasty season down in the minors, could we maybe see Julio Rodriguez maybe come up towards the end of the year? Emerson Hancock, he just got drafted. I would imagine Emerson Hancock is probably going to stay in the minor leagues this year, really get that development. Could we see a Logan Gilbert this year? There's a lot to like with him. They just had some good highlights of him at spring training, striking out some pretty top guys. George Kirby. Could we see George Kirby this year? I think this is kind of the year where you're going to start to see some of these young guys start to, get fans excited for this Mariners team. I'm really excited to see what Jared Kelenic can do. I'm excited to see if Taylor Trammell can make an impact. Can he get his career going? I'm really excited to see what these young arms and Logan Gilbert and George Kirby can do. I'm really excited for this. What is not to be excited about? I'm not even a Mariners fan, and I'm excited for this team. This Mariners team, I don't know what it is. I've always kind of had like this soft spot for the Seattle Mariners, just probably because it had to do with Ken Griffey Jr. I loved Ken Griffey Jr. growing up. As a kid, obviously I was, a Red Sox fan. I've always been a Red Sox fan, but there was just always something about Ken Griffey Jr. I always liked Sammy Sosa when I was a kid too, but just seeing Ken Griffey Jr. I don't know, when he was on the Mariners, I just loved it. I loved it. I don't know what it was. I mean, the 95 Mariners team where, Griffey's sliding in safe, man, I don't know what it is. I've just always liked this Mariners team. So it's kind of just disappointing that this team just never gets anywhere. So, hey, who knows? Could they make a run? There was a guy on MLB.com. I forget his name. I think it's like Anthony Castrovins. I might be saying that wrong, but he was making an argument that the Mariners maybe could win the division this year. Could you imagine? Could you imagine this Mariners team just goes off this year and just go? I think they could. Why couldn't they? Why could this team not win a division? This lineup is pretty good. I like the rotation. It's not the best rotation out there, but I think it's pretty good. You got some arms in this bullpen that are pretty good. You got some prospects. I don't see why this team couldn't be competitive. I think that's not a completely crazy statement to make. I think you could see this Mariners team be in the mix for a wild card. I don't see why you couldn't. So there's a lot of talent here. There's a lot of young talent. As a Mariners fan, you should be excited. You should be excited. I think you should be excited for this year. Definitely you should be excited for the next few years too. But I think you should be excited for this year. I think maybe this team could do something. So, Seattle Sports Diaries with a $4.99 Super Chat, 2024 World Series champions. Hey, can the Mariners finally win a World Series? Can that happen? So, I see you also saying, we've said it on our show, we're expecting the Mariners to make a wild card run, but if the pitching clicks, then they make a run for the division. I agree. I don't see why they couldn't. I don't see why this team, I don't see a bad team when I look at this team. You got the rookie of the year in Kyle Lewis. You got a decent bat in Kyle Seager. I like Ty France. I like Dylan Moore. Taylor Trammell, he can be an electric player. You got some good defense at first with Evan White. JP Crawford's only getting better. Good in the field. Decent offense. I like this team. I also like James Paxton. I think James Paxton could have a good bounce back year. People forget James Paxton was really good. He was really good just a couple of years ago. He had a pretty down year this past year, but 2019 with the Yankees, a 3.82 ERA, 3.86 FIP. He was good with the Mariners for years. I think just people are kind of, it's kind of the, what's the saying, what have you shown me lately kind of a thing with Paxton. He had a down year. He was having some injuries going on. I think he's going to be good. I don't know. Could I make a bold prediction and have the Mariners win the West? Maybe. We'll have to wait and see. But I am excited for this Mariners team. But let me know what you all think in the chat. Where do you think the Mariners are going to finish? Do you think the Mariners are 5th place, 4th place, 3rd? Maybe go on a crazy run. Maybe go win that division. A bit of a Cinderella story. Maybe a 2nd place finish. Let me know. Do you think they're going to be kind of staying on pace with that rebuild, or do you think they're going to accelerate that rebuild this year? Let me know what you think. Tomohiro Matsumoto, Paxton, best pitcher in the West. Hey, I think he can get back to that level. Mariners will finish 3rd, but again, snag the wild card. Oh man, so Seattle, you got 2 wild card teams coming out of the West. I had someone the other night say that there were going to be 2 teams in the Central get the wild card, and then in the East, I've seen a couple of people here and there say that even a couple of teams in the East could be the 2 wild card teams. That could be interesting. So, alrighty. But I'm seeing some 4ths. I'm seeing some 3rds. Yogi Dude, he's optimistic. I like it. I like the optimism. Sounds good to me. Alrighty. So that's what I'm talking about. Alrighty, let's move on. We're going to get to our last 2 teams here. Moving on. So this team won the division last year. Did they win the division last year? I think they won the division last year. Yeah, they won the division last year. The Oakland A's. The Oakland A's, I'm excited to see what this Oakland A's team can do. I was really high on the A's last year. So let's take a look at where Pacoda has them for 2021. So taking a look. Here we go. Alrighty, sharing the screen. Oh, hold on a second. There we go. Okay. So as of right now, Pacoda has the A's in 3rd, 80 and 82. As for Fangraphs, they have them in 3rd as well for 83 and 79. I kind of feel like that's where I'm at with the A's. I still feel like there's talent on this team, but I feel like as well they've kind of, you had a guy in Liam Hendricks leave town. I don't know. I still think there's a good team here, but if we go take a look at kind of what they did in the offseason. So, alrighty. So here we go. So they made some additions. Okay, so they did bring in a Trevor Rosenthal. That was like kind of a buzzer beater kind of a move for them. Losing Liam Hendricks, I think that was really good for them to bring in Rosenthal. Brought him in on a 1-year deal. Could you maybe see, if the A's are out of it, could you maybe see Rosenthal get traded again? Because it's a 1-year deal. I mean, I don't see why not. Trevor Rosenthal, if the A's are out of it, maybe. You brought in a Mitch Moreland. You got Sergio Romo. You brought back Jed Lowry. I mean, you did make some moves. So they also made a trade for Adam Kolarek. They brought in Elvis Andrus, trading away Chris Davis. So I think this Oakland A's team is still pretty good. If we go take a look at the depth charts. Oh, Michael Yench, the AL West will only have playoffs team. What does that mean? Well, one. Are you saying one playoff team? Yeah, I don't know. I feel like that too. But then again, you just never know. You never know. It'll be interesting because I think this Astros team can still be pretty good. I still think this A's team that we're talking about right now, I think has potential. Could the Mariners just come out of nowhere? The Angels, I think, have talent. We're going to talk about the Angels here in a little bit. But very possible. But I could also just see like the one playoff team too. But looking at here, the Oakland A's. So let's start off with the rotation here because that's what I think is still the bread and butter of the Oakland A's. I mean, it's just the starting pitching. Chris Bassett, Jesus Luzardo, Sean Manaea, Frankie Montez, AJ Puck. So some of these guys they underperformed last year. Frankie Montez, I thought this was a guy that was going to take a step forward this past year. Ended up getting hit really hard in 2020. Had the 5.60 ERA. If we take a look at Jesus Luzardo, I don't know. I just thought Luzardo was going to take a bit of a step this year. And it just kind of felt like he was spinning his wheels the entire time. Had the 9 starts, came out of the bullpen a few times. 4.12 ERA, around the same with the FIP. Xfip was a little better. But the strikeouts were down. I mean, the walks were, they were fine. And the home runs, whatever, about 1.3 per 9. So, I don't know, but I just felt like Luzardo was kind of spinning his wheels. A lot of people were really high on Luzardo last year. Some people even picking Luzardo to maybe win a Cy Young this past year. Even Frankie Montez, a lot of people were high on Frankie Montez. Then you got a guy like Chris Bassett. He had himself a pretty good year last year. So Chris Bassett, 11 starts last year, the 2.29 ERA, 3.59 FIP. You'd like to see more strikeouts out of him. You'd like, the walks and the home runs are fine, but you'd like to see him maybe get a few more strikeouts if possible. But Chris Bassett was really solid last year. Sean Manaea, last year, made 11 starts. I mean, he had a really good year in 2019 in 5 games, but then kind of this past year, took a bit of a step back. The 4.50 ERA, the FIP was better. Again, the strikeouts not really there. So I don't know. I like this A's rotation, but I think the big key is Jesus Luzardo and Frankie Montas. I think they're going to have to take a step forward. One guy to keep an eye out for is AJ Puk. This is one guy where you always hear about AJ Puk all the time. So as of right now, he's the number 2 prospect in the A's system. So this is a guy, he's got a big fastball, curveball 50, changeup 55. He's got a 65 slider. That's a wipeout slider, but he's had problems with the control. He's 6'7". It says, I was just about to say, he gets comparisons to Randy Johnson a lot just because of his height. He throws hard. So he had a shoulder injury where he wasn't really able to emerge in 2020. He underwent surgery, got some arthroscopic stuff done on his shoulder. So going to be interesting. Could he be a bullpen guy? Could he be a starter? I don't know. It's going to be really interesting with this A's team. I think there's a lot to like about this A's team, especially with the pitching. So AJ Puk, keep an eye out for him this year. Bullpen, again, we mentioned Trevor Rosenthal. Jake Dykman had himself a good year. Sergio Romo, I still think, is one of the more solid relievers in the game. But then you got some other guys who are projected for a pretty good year. JB Wendelken could be decent. I cannot say the name. Yusmeiro Petit. I don't know how to say it. Adam Kolarek, I mean, they just brought him in. I think he's going to be good for middle relief. So you lost Liam Hendriks, but I think they did a pretty good job in making up for that loss. You brought in Romo. You got Rosenthal. So I think they did as good of a job as they could have done making up for the loss of a Liam Hendriks. So, but then if you look at the lineup, I do like this lineup still. Matt Chapman, one of my favorite players in the game. The defense is absolutely nasty. I love the power that he has. Matt Olson, same thing. Good defensive player, good power. Not really going to give you too much of an average, but he'll get on base. You brought in Mitch Moreland, which I think could be pretty good, especially for him. I love me some Mitchie 2 bags, but he's getting to the latter part of his career, but he's 35 years old, but I think he could be pretty good in the DH spot for them. He's projected for around 20 home runs. You still got Steven Piscotty there. Mark Canha, I think, is good. Ramon Laureano, he had himself a pretty good year last year, I believe. So taking a look here. Romano, he had the 54 games. Oh no, he actually didn't. I'm probably thinking of 2019, but he had a good year defensively at least, but the offense really took a dip. His offense was great in 2019. Had the 24 home runs, 67 RBIs, had the 13 stolen bases as well. Hit 288, got on base at a 340 clip. I think there's a lot to like with Ramon Laureano still. I like this A's team. It's such I don't know, could they? That's why I feel like a lot of these projections kind of have them in the middle. Because there's some good things about this team, but I just feel like there could be some stronger things with this team still. But I still think it's a good team. I think it's a good team. I definitely think they're going to be at least in the 80s when it comes to their wins. That's just my opinion. I don't think they're going to dip into the 70s at all. But I definitely think this team has a chance at 90 wins. I definitely think they can at least win 85. I definitely see that. So it's going to be interesting. I think the big keys for this A's team, I think it's Luzardo and Montas. I really think it's the starting pitching. These two guys stepping up. Luzardo, if he can take a step forward, that's going to be huge for this rotation. Montas, if he can kind of get back on track, I think this A's team still has a lot of upside. So let me know what you think in the chat. Where do you think the Oakland A's are going to finish? Alex S., very excited to see what you think. But you said bad year, but he got better at the end. Are you talking about Laureano? Brandon Luzardi, Puk is scary. Yeah, man. I mean, you're seeing a big dude like that just coming at you with gas. Yogi Dude likes Luzardo. I like Luzardo too. Laureano was famous for one thing last year, fighting the Astros. That's right. I remember that. That was awesome. The freaking A's always seem to be really pesky at home. I promise you that. They are a very pesky team at home. I've actually been to the Coliseum. I saw a Red Sox A's game one time. Alex, I'm thinking with the A's, I'm starting to I think it's easy to kind of like give up on some teams. I still think the A's are still a really solid team. And I think, a first or second place finish, I don't think those are out of the question at all. Zachary third. I think they'll get 81 wins, 81 losses, right at 500. Chester the Chicken Eater. He has apostrophe S finishing in second. Yogi Dude going for first. Okay. The A's should move. Chairman AO. Man. It's funny, EJ, you said the stadium is terrible. I thought the stadium was interesting. It just felt, when I was there, it just felt really dark. I remember when I was there, I was like, this feels like I'm in like a dark place, I remember I saw Kurt Schilling pitch that year. It's 2006. A's will be a game or two behind the Angels in third. I think wherever the A's are going to finish, I think it's going to be close. I don't think they're going to be too far away off of it. If they finish in third, I don't think they're going to be very far off of a second place finish. Or if they finish in second, I think they're going to be kind of right there in the mix. So, yeah, EJ, the stadium is built for football. Yeah. So, Alex S., I have not seen. Oh, yes, I did see the new stadium plans. It looked pretty legit, man. Just, they had like this, they were like kind of moving around and looking around at the outside and everything. It looked all futuristic and stuff. Nahawan, you got to stay away from the Caps. But I saw Nahawan, you said 87 and 75. I think that's a reasonable projection for the A's. So, all right, moving on to our last team that we're going to cover for the West. I think they had the most eventful offseason in this division, so I saved them for last. And, hey, they still got the best player in the world, and that is the LA Angels. The LA Angels, I think still a lot of people are kind of split on this team because there's a lot to like with this team, but they disappoint every year. And I'm getting a little tired of it. I'm getting a little tired. So, but I think if there's any year, this is a year where the Angels could be pretty good. So let's go take a look here. So last year, the Angels, they finished 26 and 34. I mean, a disappointing finish yet again for the Angels. But Pacoda, they have them finishing at a respectable 87 and 75. As for Fangraphs, they have them finishing at 84 and 78 to finish second in the division. So, again, they're not getting the love for the division. So, I don't know, but I think this team has what it takes to win a division. It's a tough division, man. It's tough because I still think the A's are good. I still think the Astros are good. The problem with the Angels is that I don't think they're going to be a bad team. I just think they have a lot of competition in this division. And it's like you think that they're going to be a good team like every year, and they just never really seem to have enough. And one big reason for that has been the starting pitching. So let's start off with the starting pitching. They addressed that this past offseason. So they did have Dylan Bundy have a pretty good year last year. I think we got to pump the brakes a little bit with a Dylan Bundy. Not really too much of a track record. But I still think this guy, he has the tools to be really solid. A top of the rotation guy, I don't know. But he did look really good last year, just under 10 strikeouts per 9, kept the walks down, kept the home runs down, ERA in the low 3s, FIP in the high 2s. So he was doing really good last year. So Dylan Bundy, he's going to be big for this rotation if he can keep that going. You still got Andrew Heaney. I think this guy, to me, he's like a 4 in a rotation. You brought in Alex Cobb. I think Alex Cobb can be okay. Griffin Canning, I think Griffin Canning has something to offer. He's only 25 years old. But if we take a look at how he did last year, Griffin Canning. So last year he ended up doing pretty good. He had a 3.99 ERA over 11 starts. He kept the exit velocity down for the most part last year. I think Griffin Canning, he could be pretty solid. So look out for maybe a bit of a step forward this year from him. I think that would be huge. They brought in Jose Quintana from free agency. This is an interesting one. I think he's like a 3 or a 4 in this rotation. If you go back to 20, he didn't really pitch at all last year. He had 4 games. I believe he cut his thumb doing the dishes. I could be wrong. But going back to 2019, he's always been kind of like this, low 4 ERA kind of guy. He gives you innings. But I think that's what the Angels need. I think the Angels need guys that are just going to give them innings. So, however, the big guy here who's been having himself a pretty good spring and he's looking healthy is Shohei Ohtani. This, I think, is the biggest key for this team. Because if this guy, to be honest, I'm not even too concerned with the offense. If they need his pitching. They need pitching from him. So if we actually go take a look at what he's been able to do so far this spring, he's looked pretty good. His velocity is looking really good. As of right now, spring training, so where are the pitching stats? Do they have his pitching stats for... I might have to go to MLB.com. Unless I was just completely missing it right there. But I want to see the pitching stats. Because that's where I think he's going to be huge for this team. So here we go. All right, so he's actually given up a few. Really? Did he have a bad start there? He had a bad. He's had some home runs. He's hit some bombs this spring. So offensively, he's looking good. But the pitching, I guess he got kind of lit up a little bit. So what was that? They have the game log here. Here we go. So, what was? Okay, I don't want the batting. I want the pitching. Okay, so he got lit up last week. He got lit up in that game against the White Sox. 5 earned runs, 1 home run. He did strike out 4 guys, so I guess that's good. He looked pretty good in that first start. But they need Ohtani. They need Ohtani to pitch. If he can't pitch, they're just lacking that guy at the top of that rotation. It's so noticeable. I don't know. I just don't think Dylan Bundy is that guy. I think Dylan Bundy's like a 2, maybe a 3, like a 2.5. I don't know. I think Ohtani needs to be that guy. This guy has all the talent in the world to be an ace of a staff and also hit some home runs too. I think he's gonna give you the offense. It's just a matter of, is he gonna be able to give you some good quality innings? So, however, actually, let's stick with the bullpen. I do like the Raisel Iglesias move. I like that move a lot. So, other arms in the bullpen are looking okay projection-wise. Mike Mayers, 4.17 ERA projection. Ty Bucktree has a good projection. I got Junior Guerra they brought in. They brought in Alex Claudio. They got Jesse Chavez, Aaron Sleggers. They got some guys, but I don't know. I think the bullpen definitely could use another arm. If we take a look now at the offense. Now, the offense is something I'm not really worried about with this team. You got the best player in the world in Mike Trout. I'm not going to really talk about him at all. You guys know who Mike Trout is. David Fletcher, really solid year last year. Again, Ohtani, I think the big key with Ohtani is his health. If he can just stay on the field, you're going to get production with him with the bat, and hopefully they can just get some pitching from him. Rondon, he's going to be fine. There's not really anything to talk about with Rondon. He's going to get on base. He's going to hit for some power. Rondon's still one of the best players in the game. Justin Upton, can they kind of get him back to kind of what they brought him in for? Justin Upton had just a terrible year the last couple of years. He has just fallen off the face of the planet. He's had some home runs, but he's just not really, I don't know. His exit velocity last year was actually pretty good, almost 92 mile an hour average. But they kind of need to get him back to like that 2018 Justin Upton kind of level, where the 30 home runs that year, the 85 RBIs, 344 on base. If they can get him to that, that's going to be really good. Pujols, probably his last year, I would imagine. The last year of his contract. I'm imagining he's going to be retiring after this year. He's going to give you something with the bat. He'll give you a little bit of power. I don't think it's the worst bat to have near the bottom of the order. So veteran presence as well. Max Stasey they have. Jose Iglesias. I like the Jose Iglesias move. I think he's going to be great for defense. Really like that move. Kurt Suzuki. Oh, they brought in Dexter Fowler too. Dexter Fowler, I don't think he's the same guy. But if we take a look here, Dexter Fowler, 2019, he was fine. 19 home runs, 67 RBIs. He got pretty good on base that year, actually. He'll be fine. He'll be there. So I like the lineup. I mean, there's really not much to say about the lineup. It's a good lineup. The biggest key with this Angels team is the pitching, the bullpen. That's the key. I mean, that's the most noticeable thing about this team. If we go take a look at the top prospects, some guys maybe to keep an eye out for this year. Could we maybe see Brandon Marsh this year? If Justin Upton continues to struggle, are we going to see him? Oh, I completely left out. Where is he? Where do they have him on here? Joe Adell. Where is Joe Adell? Are they going to be able to get him back on track? It looks like they're going to be putting him in the minors. At least I felt like I read that somewhere. They're going to get him some more seasoning down in the minor leagues. So, actually, is there any news on Joe Adell? So, what's this? Off the bench baseball. No need to worry about Joe Adell. I mean, the guy had a rookie season last year, and everyone's like jumping down this guy's throat. I mean, it's a rookie year, and it's a shortened COVID year. Why is everyone freaking out about Joe Adell? In his first 132 career plate appearances from last season, he hit 161. Oh, sure, it's fine, but dude, he just got to the major leagues. Can you calm down? He's 21 years old. The word rushed was, people are saying he was rushed. It's dude, he's a rookie. Okay, wow. Does anyone remember the name Dustin Pedroia? Does anyone remember how bad that guy hit? Dustin Pedroia, people in Boston were calling for this guy to get traded, to bench him, to send him back down to single A, double A, just get rid of this guy. Dustin Pedroia ended up being one of the best players in Red Sox history. Can we please calm down? Joe Adell is obviously talented. This guy is going to be really good. So no need to worry about Joe Adell. I think you're going to see him again at some point. Brandon Marsh is another one. I think you could see him at some point. I think I'm kind of looking at, you got guys like Dexter Fowler there, guys like Justin Upton. I could easily see Joe Adell coming up at some point this year. And just being a complete spark plug for the team. I think he's motivated. Yeah, sure. He had, down year last year. It happens. It's fine. It's happened to many players that are rookies. It takes time sometimes. It's just going to happen. But Brandon Marsh, look out for him. This is a guy to definitely keep an eye out for. He's got some power down in the minors, like Brandon Marsh. Got some power, but he has a better hit tool. He got some speed. He's just a good all-around player. So keep an eye out for him. Reed Detmers, I would imagine probably not going to see him this year. He just got drafted. Maybe if he's doing pretty good, maybe they kind of accelerate him a little bit. I would imagine you're probably not going to see him. He, like I said, just got drafted. But, hey, we've seen some guys that just got drafted this past year that, they ended up coming up to the major leagues. So, again, there's not really many other guys that are, close. Could you maybe see a Chris Rodriguez? I don't know. But I think Brandon Marsh, you could see him. Joe Adell, I think he's going to be fine. I think this Angels team is really good. I definitely think this team is capable of winning 90 games. I think this team is capable of winning a division. I will say this, though. My own personal prediction with this West, I think it's only going to be the division winner. My personal opinion, I don't think you're going to see the wild card out of this division. I could be wrong. I don't know. I think it's a very close division, but I think it's a little on the weaker side, I would say. That's just my opinion. But let me know, where do you guys think the Angels are going to finish? I've been seeing your guys' picks for where these guys are going to finish. You guys have been kind of mixed on all of them. Let me know. Where do you think the Angels are going to finish? First, second, third, fourth, last? What do you think? Let me know. Orion Hunter, the future for the Angels is looking bright. Andrew Lee, third place finish. Boston Ted Sox, fourth place. Nahawan, third. Rocky Adams, fourth. Tomohiro, second. Alex, second. We need to see the pitching. Yeah, I agree. I think you're going to see I think you're going to kind of know what this Angels team is in the first month. First month. Maybe, first couple of months, I think you're going to know what this team is. Andrew Lee's thinking 75 wins. Oh, man. Brandon Lazardi, he says no wild card teams out of the West. I'm seeing first. I'm seeing a first. Tomohiro says they missed the playoffs. Orion with a second place finish. Yogi Dude says second or third. Hey, Zachary Goldstein, I think if the Angels are in it, I think they go for a guy. Could they make a trade for a starting pitcher? It's weird, man, how, Trevor Bauer on this team, I thought could have been really good, but hey, what can you do? Zachary Goldstein, he's thinking 86 and 76. All righty. Have to wait and see. But that is all I have for the American League West tonight, everyone. Yeah, that completes my previews for the American League. Next week, I'm going to get into the National League. Monday night, I'm going to be here talking the National League East with Jolly Olive himself. He has really been on the rise as of late. Awesome YouTuber for baseball. Go check him out. He gives me good vibes, a good mix of like foolish baseball and like baseball doesn't exist. Kind of a good mix between those two. Go check him out. He's very good, very good. I believe he is getting close to like 15,000 or 16,000 subscribers now. The guy just exploded. So, but we are going to talk the National League East on Monday. Hopefully there's no technical difficulties. Either way, we'll be here and we'll be talking the East. So, everyone, that's all I got for tonight. I might maybe post something over the weekend. Not quite sure. If not, I will see you over the weekend or after the weekend on Monday night. Real quick before I get out of here, if you are new, hit that subscribe button. We're so close to 6,000 subscribers. Very close. Hit that like button for me. That's going to get this stream out to more baseball fans, especially the ones that weren't able to come in tonight. And go follow me on Twitter if you want to talk some baseball throughout the day. So, everyone, that is all I have for tonight. Thank you so much. Have yourself a great night. Have a great weekend. And I'll talk to you next time.